Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for yet another What We Really Learned from the past Chelsea game. And this time, it wasn't just any game. This time, it was the round of 16 of the Champions League, and Chelsea only gone and went away to Atletico Madrid, even though it was in Bucharest, and got the dub. Got a 1-0 dub. It wasn't the biggest dub in the world, but it was a huge dub, an important dub, and I'm here to talk about it. First of all, joined by Monster himself, and of course, later on, Dammy and probably Lewis will be joining us. But Monster, bro, how are you doing? It's been a minute. Well, actually, it's been 5 minutes since the Lewis stream. But before that, it's been a minute. So how you been, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm so happy that we won. I mean, who wouldn't be happy? Do you know what I mean? I would have been satisfied with even a draw from that game. But the fact that we got a win, I slept good last night. Do you get what I mean? I slept good.
Exactly. I think we all did after that. I think we all did. I mean, hey, when the lineup came out, I was like, ooh, am I sure about this? Giroud, Alonso. But them, man, especially Giroud, turned up to,
Yeah, I mean,
listen,
when I was doing like a pre-match preview and things like that, I mean, I said you've got to start Giroud over Tammy. And, a lot of people were, giving me a little bit of stick because I said Alonso over Chilwell. But listen, Giroud is a big game player. He's proven that for us. He's proven that over the past few seasons, whether it's the Europa League campaign, the back end of last season, against Sevilla this season, he's been a big game player. He's gotten us really important goals. So it shouldn't really surprise anyone that he did what he did again yesterday.
He did. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's just what Giroud does, and it's just what Alonso does. The thing is, I didn't quite expect Atletico to be just this defensive. I thought they would be defensive and more defensive than people that looked more in depth with them maybe considered. But I didn't think they would be this deep. And obviously, in hindsight, knowing how deep they set, Alonso was fine. And to be fair, Alonso also dealt with Correa and Marcus Llorente incredibly well. Did he do that much going forward? Maybe not. But hey, he dealt with every threat he had to deal with perfectly well, other than when him and Rudiger once had a bit of a brave fart and let Suarez through for Atletico's biggest chance of the game, quite frankly. But one of the men has decided to grace us with brilliance. I'm not sure what words I'm looking for here, but Mr. Carefree Lewis G has turned up as well, bro. How are you? I hope your migraines improved.
Yeah. I've had a bit of food to sort me out, and we're good. I feel a lot better. I'm relaxed. Big up yourself, man, Monster, as well. Great to chat to you as well, bro. How's everyone been? How's everyone's night been? All good?
Exactly. Mate, we're buzzing. Obviously, we spoke a lot on Lewis's channel in the end, a lot about the academy and about Tammy and about all these players. I want to take a little bit more of an in-depth look on the game itself. Obviously, Monster and myself just spoke about the lineup. I know you and me, Lewis.
By the way, have you not seen the Dele Alli goal just now?
No,
I haven't seen it, but I see people raving on about it on the.
It's a nice overhead kick, like not quite Olivier Giroud, but it's a good one. I'll give him that. Also, Europa League tax, so Giroud's still clear. But here we are.
It's an Austrian team in a little village. Don't count. It really
you're
don't
Austrian, and you're not even rating them to me, so it don't mean nothing.
Exactly. Like, they're so bad that their actual name is, worded wrong by every single English media outlet. I know they're called Wolfsberger AC, right? But Wolfs, the ER at the end, just means apostrophe S in English. So actually, they're just from a place called Wolfsberg. But everyone's calling it Wolf.
I just saw it. It was quite outrageous.
Was it good?
Europa League tax. I'm shameless.
It was good. I can't.
There you go.
Smiling.
Mourinho smiling about something Dele Alli did. That's got to be a madness then.
He still won't start the next game. It is what it is.
No, it's true. It's true. But yeah, Monster and myself, we're just talking about the lineup. Obviously, you and myself, Lewis, we're talking to Alex, to Euro Expert, about lineup and Alonso and Giroud. And we weren't really 100% sure about it. Just if people forgot that's the team that we had, obviously sticking to the 3-4-2-1 system. Mount as the right side, in 10, I guess. Werner on the left. Giroud up top. Alonso, Hudson-Odoi, the wing backs. Jorginho, Kovacic, Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta. Nothing crazy surprising other than the people that wanted Chilwell over Alonso. And then the front three was always a bit of a question. I personally, ahead of the game, would have loved to see like a false nine situation with either Havertz or Mason Mount if Kai wasn't fit to start. I think that would have suited the system against Atletico very well. But hey, in the end, it didn't quite work. I guess it didn't quite work. So you have to deal with what you have to deal with. And Giroud started up top and did the business. But what did you make of the game overall, Monster? Let me go with you first. What did you make of the game overall? Because defensively, we were class other than the first 5-10 minutes. We looked nervous to start with, but after that, it got better and better.
I kind of it was what I expected, in a way where I expected Atletico to go like low block, defensive. Well, the only thing is I did expect them to come outside and try to hit us on a counter attack. Kudos to our defense and midfield, didn't allow that to happen at all, and exposed those frauds, and also exposed and kept the clown quiet. Talk about Luis Suarez up front, innit? And also kept Joao Felix, who is an absolute just baller extraordinaire. We did well to keep him quiet. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, good game.
Yeah, for sure. It was a good game. It was a good game. And to make the game, I wait. We can see Demi on the little screen at the bottom, and man's telling me, wait. Demi is here. Just give him a minute or two, and man will arrive. Lewis, first 5-10 minutes, bit nervy. You had the slightly overhit back pass to Mendy by Aspi that almost led to a penalty, a goal, whatever else. And the passing was a bit dodgy, but the game, just kept going, and we just grew into it more and more. Atletico seemed to get more and more scared of us. In the end, playing a 6-3-1, if not like a 7-2-1, whatever you want to call it. They was putting everyone that they could possibly think of and find in their own box. But what did you make of, especially the beginning of the game, and then overall, I guess?
Start of the game was it was us trying to break them down for the most part, and their defensive shape was really, really hard to break through. We were having a couple chances, but for some of them felt like half chances. Some of them were balls across the box where we were just struggling to get someone on the end of it. But it was stuff to be optimistic about. Like, I wasn't at any point necessarily worried that we could drop the game, except for maybe the first 5-10 minutes, because initially we didn't start out great, especially with that thing with the Mendy back pass where they nearly just scored right off the bat. Like, it was definitely shaky at the start, but then we stabilized ourselves. We were calm. Went into half-time, and I said even for weeks going into this game was first goal wins. Whoever scores probably takes the game, because they're going to play a solid defensive system. And I back our defense as well. Like, my only real worry was Marcos Alonso on the left-hand side, and he had a good performance. So I've got to give him his flowers on that as well. He played well, so credit to him in that performance too. But all we needed was a moment of magic in this game, because realistically, if we were going to look at trying to break them down, we were not going to break them down in that game. So we needed something out of nowhere. Up steps Olivier Giroud with an overhead kick out of nowhere, and we're 1-0 up. You know what? I take it, because we just needed we needed a moment of magic. We weren't going to break through. Our best chance was through Timo Werner, who had a couple good tries, but it was also nothing really clear cut. Like, the angles were very tight and everything, so I don't really care too much about the fact that he still hasn't got a goal through this game, because I still think his performance was good. But defensively, we were solid. Rudiger, Christensen, amazing performances. Azpilicueta as well. Going forward, Hudson-Odoi was excellent down that right-hand side. And to be honest, I kind of wish he took on Lamar more. I've been saying that in all my reviews as well, because I think he was really there for the taking. And he definitely dominates him throughout the match. But I do still think he could have, if he managed to get in through him a little bit more, there might have been a bit more of an opportunity for him. But he was still delivering a lot of very dangerous crosses into the box. Definitely a lot of threat from him as well. So I'm happy with his performance too. And yeah, we've taken another big scalp. I'm happy. Like, this is exactly what we've needed from the team. Get these big performances that you can use as confidence going into the next few games. Because now we're going to go into the United game filled with confidence. And if we get something in then we're going to go to the Liverpool game in confidence. And imagine if we've gone from no wins against the top 6 side to now beating Atletico, Manchester United and Liverpool in the space of a week.
Hey, bro, I couldn't agree more. We'll get more to Callum Hudson-Odoi on that right-hand side as well. First up, big up Zion, jumping from the Lewis chat, jumping onto here. A man's dropping the piece left, right, and centre. As much as I...
in Dami's chat too.
Was it? Hey, my man's making bread, and I love it for him. Zion with the super chat here. Big up yourself for that. You kind of like donated too much for me to almost want to disagree with it, even though I do. Saying, don't judge Chelsea against Madrid. Judge them against teams like... Go on.
I disagree, bro.
Yeah.
Don't judge Chelsea.
You could just disagree. I would just be thankful. Against teams like United, Liverpool, and Everton. So, guys, don't get carried away with this one win in Europe. Focus on the league and top four. You're not totally wrong. Obviously, we need to judge it against other teams as well. But you can still be happy for playing against a very good team and getting the dub against it. Especially when, and I've said this on a number of occasions now, we haven't made it past the round of 16 since 2014. We haven't yet either, but we've put ourselves in a good situation and a good position for the second leg. And to make it past that, if we want to be considered one of the biggest clubs in Europe, you can't every year drop out of the round of 16. It don't work like that. You need to make it past that round, at least the quarters. I'm not saying here you have to make the semi-finals every year, not at all. That's the top 4 league teams in Europe. You can't be expected to be there every year. Even Bayern Munich, Real Madrid can't do that. But to make it to the quarterfinals should be possible. As much as our draw is difficult, we put ourselves in a good situation. But again, Zion, really appreciate the donation. And everyone in the chat, I do see you. I do see you. If you want to make sure that I see a message, do use the super chat function. Of course, you don't have to, but otherwise I might miss your message. Or become a member. There's a join button underneath that gives you a little badge like Jester has, meaning I definitely see it because it stands out. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. We're on the road to 10k. Smash the like button, and of course, check out these two. Monsters link is in the description. Lewis's as well, and of course, Dammy's, who will be joining us in a minute or two as well. So check out all of these guys. Subscribe to all of these guys. But after what Lewis said, Monster, do you have anything? I actually want to start with the defense first, because I thought the defense, as much as we got the goal in the end, the attack was good, but nothing outrageous. Okay, it was against one of the best defensive teams in the world, but still, it was good, but nothing outrageous. But the defense, in my opinion, was really impressive. And the defense, for me, includes, well, maybe not so much Mendy. He was average because he had nothing to save and had a few dodgy on-the-ball moments with his feet. But the back three, the double pivot in terms of a defensive, play going forward, they both had their issues, particularly Jorginho. But in a defensive shape, keeping the shape, keeping control, winning the ball back when necessary when we were hit on the break. But also Callum Hudson-Odoi and Marcos Alonso. I thought those guys were all absolutely brilliant. And in particular, Andreas Christensen. Obviously we know how good Thiago Silva is, and I know you think he's our player of the season so far.
Yeah.
Like, Christensen has been so good, there's even some debates, does he come back in for Christensen? Of course he will, and he should. But to even just have a little bit of a debate, just proves how good Christensen has been, quite frankly.
Listen, if Thiago Silva comes in, someone's got to drop. Whether it's Christensen or it's Rudiger, I doubt it will be Aspi, but someone's got to drop in it. Listen, Thiago Silva is our best centre-back by a country mile. Do you know what I mean? And it's not close. He's our best player by a country mile, and it's not close. Do you get what I mean? So he's definitely got to start. But in terms of our defense yesterday, my man of the match was either Christensen, Rudiger, or Azpilicueta. To me, the man of the match had to be those three. Yeah, Giroud got the goal. Good. He got the goal. But what those three did was so impressive. And because, in general, we always seem to credit the goal scorers and things, but we never really credit the guys who are controlling the game or the guys that are nullifying the defenders, isn't it? To me, I think Christensen was the man of the match, personally, if you ask me.
I would agree with you. I saw someone in Lewis's chat earlier saying Giroud was man of the moment, Christensen was man of the match, and I couldn't agree with that more. In terms of a rating for the game, obviously we did a player rating stream last night. Check that out if you missed it. But yeah, they were all just brilliant. Like, we kept the shape perfectly well. They dealt with João Felix, who's a brilliant player. Yes, he just came back and, from injury and whatever and illness, but still top player. Luis Suarez, top player, joined with Leo Messi in La Liga with highest goal scorer this season. And, these are really, really good players, and they did nothing. Suarez had one moment and bottled it himself. And then the one moment where he assisted Leanrt, and Leanrt kind of bottled it, plus Callum tracking back really well. That's it. That's all they had. They didn't have a single shot on target. And then we move forward, going into more of our attacking play. Like I said, they sat so bloody deep. It was difficult to do anything. But exactly. I mean, I said it already. 6-3-1, 7, whatever. Tuchel in his post-match interview saying like they had 7-8 players in the box, and he wasn't wrong. But we were working away at it, slowly but surely, making sure we don't lose the ball in stupid positions. making sure whenever we needed to, we tried the difficult pass. They didn't come off. Tuchel comes back with his word of lack of precision, fully correct every time, but at least they tried. In particular, that goes for Jorginho, in my opinion, played more forward passes and risky forward passes than I've seen him almost ever play for us yesterday. Yeah, it didn't come off, but I already liked the fact that he tried at least. As much as maybe that's not saying a lot, but still, I like it. But we were trying and trying and trying, and it was good. And before I get to the offensive players in particular, I want to big up Thomas Tuchel as well for this, because we went away in Europe to Atletico Madrid, top of La Liga, and he wasn't having it. He wasn't saying, I'm going to change my play style. He didn't do what Sarri did. He didn't do what Lampard did, who changed up the system. Sarri went to a flat midfield three rather than the 6 and the 8 against the big teams. Lampard either changed to a back three or did the same with the flat midfield three. They all changed it up left, right, and centre. And Tuchel was like, no, we are a good team. My football works. I'm going to play what I play, and we're going to get a result that way. And that's exactly what happened. And to make that even better, not just did Tuchel make that happen, we made it happen, and Mr. Dami is ready to jump on the stream. So, Mr. Grandam, my bro, how are you?
Lord, let me tell you, man, something real quick. It's not even football related, yeah. Let me tell you something about life. Don't do too many things. If not, you'll be all over the place, all over the time. But listen, man is here now. You understand? I apologize for coming late. I'm so sorry. You know, I'm coming from. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I am so damn sorry. I'm here. You understand? I'm here with my Adele-esque. You know, I'm coming from. I put Adele out of business. I'm with my singing. But man is here, you know. 2 cool settings and whatnot. I'm seeing, like I said to people, Laurenz is smiling, Lewis is weed smiling, and Monster is smiling, fam. You understand? When you've got all the people in the building smiling, you know what's popping up at the institution that is Chelsea Football Club. You understand? We out here in this thing doing big things. You know, understand?
Exactly. And hey, Flyers, I'm not having it at all. Dami's bringing the singing. Yesterday was giving it the happy birthdays. Now he's giving it, the energy as well. I'm a big fan.
Let the man serenade us, man. Let him serenade us.
Exactly. Yeah, someone in the chat, it was someone's birthday when he hopped on the player ratings. A man was giving it the happy birthday, all Marilyn Monroe style. It was crazy up in it.
If you want me to see, I can rap in it. You understand? I can rap as well. You know them ones, fam. I mystic with the pen like you understand. I will come spitting bars, fam, but now I'm here for real. I'm here for real.
Exactly. There we go. We just talked a bit about the defense. Obviously, you and me, Dami, spoke last night as well. So I get your more overall thoughts rather than the specifics. Obviously, we went through the player ratings last night. And yeah, I was just bigging up Thomas Tuchel because, like you kind of said yesterday as well, he didn't change it. He didn't change it. He wasn't going to Atletico and saying, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to be a bit more hesitant. I'm going to do things different. No. He was going there. I'm going to go Kovacic, Jorginho. I'm going to go with Hudson-Odoi at right wing back. And I will tell these, man, either you sit back or we're going to pepper you. Probably we wouldn't have peppered them anyway because we don't. But we tried and they were sure as hell scared of us because otherwise they wouldn't have sat as deep. And it will be very interesting for the second leg. Will they come at us more than they did for this one? It will be very interesting. Dami, give me your thoughts as well. First of all, the defenders, big up to them, but also Thomas Tuchel before I get to Lewis and back to Monster for that one as well.
So my thoughts on Tuchel.
Yeah.
True say, like I said, that's big boy settings. A lot of people don't seem to understand what he did meant yesterday. Any other manager Chelsea have had in the last how many years would have changed things up. You know, I'm coming from. If you had your Conte, he wouldn't have gone with 3-4-3, he would have gone with 5-3-2. Lampard would have tried the 3-4-3 to be a bit more defensive. All these previous, Mourinho would have been defensive. Every single person would have changed up their style to fit the opposition. Tuchel said that I'm going to come straight into the club and I'm going to absolutely do what I want to do against the opposition. I don't give a damn if you might have not lost too many games this season. I don't care if you've scored the most goals. I don't care if you've conceded the least. I'm going to come in and I'm going to play my football. That is a statement of intent. You understand? For me, personally, that is a statement of intent. That is somebody that knows what he's doing. He will back what he's doing. And that is the sort of thing I want to see. That's a confident manager. And that's something we have lacked at Chelsea for many, many years. The last manager that I remember that didn't give a damn about who he was playing against was Carlo Ancelotti. You understand? Obviously, you had Antonio Conte in that 2016-2017 season where he came in, but Chelsea were counter-attacking. But I'm talking football. We're out there to play football. Under Lampard, we could play ball sometimes, but then he'd also swap over to a defensive thing to counterbalance the opposition. But Tuchel said, no, I don't care. We're going to play Tuchel ball today. He went out there. He He did what he needed to do. Obviously, Giroud came in and scored that absolute top-tier belter yesterday. You understand? Shout out to the Giroud man, them. You obviously had Andreas Christensen, AC Hive doing well. But at the end of the day, you had all those people doing that. And that's why I melted my voice. Put your fingers.
Put them hands down, man.
Come on, we out here. Welcome to the AC Penitentiary.
Can't be gassing. I'm going to ratio your tweet this evening. No worries. I understand. But yeah,
come, because we got more people in the AC Hive now. There's still a ticket for you, bro. Thank you, Laurenz. I didn't even have to do it myself. Plenty of room. A lot of space in the middle as well. That's there for Martial, Greenwood, Mo Salah. Don't worry, there's plenty of room for all these, man.
Man has locked up himself too, and I like it. I rate it massively. Understand? Man is inside the prison cell. Big up to him. He locked him. He knows what he needs to do, boss. Man was inside the thing. Say less, fam. I can see him. But like I said, I can see him.
Man locked himself up as well.
He locked up himself doing it, so we can see that's what he's capable of.
I mean, it's his own yard, isn't it?
Yeah, but man is in the yard too with the prisoners. They'll bite him, fam. See Suarez looking all smiling and that. Bite off his ear or something like that. So you might have to be careful. But at the end of the day, for me, like I said, Tuchel came in and true say I'm happy about the performance, but I am more happy about the fact that he stuck to his guns from top to bottom, regardless of how things are ordered. So that's how I'm feeling about that game. That's one of the main positives I picked up from the game.
You know what? Yeah, in saying that, when you look at who people rate as the greatest manager, the best managers in the world right now, the likes of Guardiola, the likes of Bielsa, the likes of Klopp. But with the way they play, they're not. I don't really see them much as tacticians. They just have their way of playing, and they stick to it no matter what. And that's what what's his name did recently. Tuchel. He just said, "My way or the highway. I'm gonna stick to the way I play. I don't have to change up for you," and it's worked. Do you get what I mean? It's worked. It's worked so far. He's still undefeated. And hopefully, listen, at the end of the day, another win, another clean sheet. We move to the home game, innit?
We move to the home game. Obviously, we have a lot of tough fixtures between now and then, which, we have to get through. And obviously, Dami said this last night. If we can get a 75-80% wins out of those, and hey, we don't even need to win a second leg, a 0-0, 1-1, any sort of draw, fine, happy. So, all bloody good in my opinion. But Lewis, what did you make of the fact how Tuchel approached that? Did it surprise you? Did you expect that? And, I guess along the lines of what Dami and myself said, couldn't really ask for much more now, can we?
Nah, to be honest, I was a little bit cautious that Tuchel might do something completely by surprise because he is capable of doing that and he's done it before. But it made sense that we kept to this sort of lineup because I was saying every single game that we were facing leading up to this match, except maybe the Southampton game, kind of felt like dress rehearsals for this game. You're playing a bunch of teams who sit deep, have a low block against you, and you need to try and break them down. It's just Atletico is just your final boss when it comes to that. So it wouldn't make too much sense for us to change the lineup to something that we hadn't seen before. Even though he's capable of it, I didn't think that would happen. So that's why I was kind of optimistic going into the game because we should be comfortable in this sort of situation because we've been in this situation now so many times going into other games that now we should just be able to find our way through it. And yeah, we struggled, but I never thought we struggled to dominate the game. I never really thought we struggled on the ball. We might have struggled for options in the final third, but that's about it, to be honest. Other than that, we stamped our mark on the game, and that's what I wanted to see. The Tottenham game was a good game, but we also should have done a lot more in that sort of game, especially with the level that Spurs were. This was different. I think Atletico still played well to their extent. You have to also take into account the amount of injuries and problems they've been suffering with the virus and everything like that. I was going to have their own impact as well. And it was still a tough game for us. So I have to give Atletico credit for that as well. But we did our job. So yeah, I'm really happy with Tuchel's work because it's just showing, it's blooming now. We're starting to see the result against the big teams. And that's exactly what we were saying was the thing that we were missing on the Lampard. And now we're seeing it.
Exactly. I had the comment here by It's Our Team about the Tammy rumor. We'll get into that. We debated a lot about it on Lewis's channel. Obviously, I haven't heard Tammy's thoughts on it just yet. We will get onto that in just a little bit. If you want to make sure that just type it again in the comments a little bit later on. But Monster, did you agree with the sentiments about Tuchel? I also want to make this one point. I think the fact that everyone knows how tactically astute he is and the fact that he's usually not scared to change it up when he feels necessary, I think that in itself makes people scared of him and almost surprised when he doesn't change it, if that makes sense. So him not changing it is sometimes almost equally as surprising as him changing it. Obviously, us as Chelsea fans watching it week in, week out, I mean, bloody the UEFA thought we was lining up in a 4-3-3 when they put out the lineup, and I was like, bro, just listen to what we've been doing, watch what we've been doing. Like it's a madness, isn't it?
Tuchel, man, I think so far he's been great. He's the thing is, fair enough. Some people say we've not been that great, we've not been like amazing or whatever. But one thing I would say is we are professional and we're taking care of business. It might not be the most aesthetically pleasing thing, but it's professional, isn't it? We're doing what we need to do to win, and we're doing it convincingly. Like, we're limiting what we've only had like how many shots on target over the past few games? It's like something really low, less than 5, isn't it? Over how many games now? And this is how good. And we've conceded like what, 2 games as well? One against Southampton, one against Sheffield United. It's crazy there as well. So he's doing excellently. I have no issues with what he's doing. I think it's just, unfortunately, it's a step up from Frank Lampard. He's utilizing the squad and everything, isn't it? So yeah, my man says we are disciplined. It's professional. We're looking professional, man.
We are, and like Fahim just said, we look more disciplined. And I don't want to sit here and start slagging off Frank Lampard. That's not at all what I like to do. But when obviously we heard certain rumors like there were no tactical instructions and stuff like that, and then like Fahim just said, in terms of discipline, it feels like the players know more, not even just in attacking play, because then in the final third, it still seems like at times they don't know. But in terms of defending and in terms of making sure we don't get hit on the break, in terms of making sure how to spread, how to press, it just seems like there's more structure to it. And they know, now I have to take a foul. Now I have to go for the ball. Now I have to drop to make sure, we keep, higher numbers and don't get outnumbered further back the pitch. Like, it just seems like we know what we're doing, if that makes sense. And Jester, obviously, I see your messages in the chat. We will talk about transfer rumors in just a little bit. But before we get anywhere further, and we will get to the front line, I guess, now. But comments like this, Thomas, I'm sorry, but that's like, you can't be saying that. Man's okay. I know Monster said his second best player. In my opinion, best player, just because Thiago Silva hasn't played as consistently and hasn't tried to drag us out of the mud as much as Mason did, even though performance level, I could probably agree with you. Mason Mount has been our player of the season. And you can't be giving me his mid-table level. That's just outrageous. You can't be doing that. Man's dishing out nutmegs against Atletico Madrid just as much as he did against Southampton. Man didn't start against Wolves in Tuchel's first game, comes on and was the most dangerous player on the day. Like, you can't be giving me crazy things like a Mason Mount is a mid-table player. Like, nah, you need to relax. Yes, could his final pass be a little bit better sometimes? Of course it could. Of course it could. But there's not many 22-year-olds who are the final product. Yes, there is a Haaland, and yes, there is a Neymar. But other than that, and maybe a Phil Foden, but other than that, very few players are perfect or close to perfect at 22. And yes, you had a Messi. Even Ronaldo wasn't anywhere near perfect at 22. Like, you need to give these guys a little bit of time. He plays a lot of football, plays every week. And I've said this before, energy is a part of why you win games. I saw this before the game yesterday. There was this clip of Atletico. They're hit on the break. And you could just see 7-8 of their players just sprinting back to make sure they don't concede on the break. And what we have instead, and no disrespect to Alonso for yesterday's performance, but we see too many times that we have players like Alonso who, when we get hit on the break, don't even bother running back. And then we concede, like, for example, at West Ham last season. And then you have Mason Mount, who the guy could play 120 minutes and he would still start sprinting if he had to. So don't give me that crap. If anyone wants to, support that claim or support Thomas's claim, be free to. But otherwise, I would love to get to the front. Go on.
Can I speak on Mount? Yeah. Trucy, and I want to hear, because Laurenz, I know we spoke about this yesterday. I want to hear Lewis and Monster as well, because Trucy, Monster was on your stream as per usual at the work thing. I was watching you man stream as well, Lewis, Monster, Matisse, Craig, Laurenz. I watched that as well, but I want to get you man's opinion with me in the room as well, innit? You understand? I'm here, fam. The talk is different, you understand? Now I'm not waffling, but yesterday, yeah, Trucy, everyone that is chatting grease about the youth players. Are we really expecting these brothers to turn up in their first official big game of their careers? Literally, they've stepped up against Champions League level opposition into the Champions League. Someone like Mason Mount his first half performance was not even that good. Straight up, it was not good. But are you going to chat as much grease about a 22-year-old when you've got Jorginho on the pitch having a... Jorginho is meant to be Mr. Passmaster Supreme.
Jorginho didn't have a bad game yesterday.
No. Yesterday in the first half, brother was meant to be Mr. Passmaster Supreme, and he overhit quite a few balls. I'm not saying he was bad.
In the final third, you're right.
In the final third, like that's what I'm saying. So people like that are the people you rely on, okay? You're supposed to be relying on the older players in the Champions League. You know where I'm coming from? Those are the individuals that are supposed to be stepping up and showing their levels. I'm not saying Jorginho was bad, but my point is Champions League, big stage, you're expecting more from him. You're expecting more from him, okay? Look at Olivier Giroud, expecting massive bits from him. And he came in and he showed what he was made of. As Piliqueta, maybe from defense, he can't really do too much. I won't say too much. But my point is, in the Champions League, as an older player, we're expecting levels from you. Rudiger showed levels in defense. Christensen isn't that old, but he showed levels in defense. Aspi showed levels in defense as well. But when you're talking about your Kovacic's and your Jorginhos, they need to show a bit too much. You know where I'm coming from? I want you to be over. I'm never going to address the whole thing. Bottom line of what I'm trying to say to you is Callum Hudson-Odoi and Mason Mount yesterday. I don't think we should be dragging them too much. You understand? That's all I'm telling you. That's all I'm saying.
Barring the defense, I think the back three and then the Jorginho in front of them, in terms of like protecting the back line and controlling the game, I think Jorginho had a good game in that sense.
Yeah, that foul. Sorry to cut you off. That foul he got, fam, was that foul he got saved the game. He saved the game, in my opinion.
Final third play. No, he didn't have the best game. I think it was quite, he missed about 5 or 6 through balls. He overhit them. He didn't have the best game in that sense. But yeah, the front line, although Giroud did score, he didn't have the best game. Neither did Mason Mount. Neither did what's it called? Who else? Giroud didn't even have the best game. Neither did Werner. Neither did Callum Hudson-Odoi. Neither did Marcus Alonso. They lack. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Every single one of them lack quality to be able to create and score the right chances. With Giroud, maybe I'll take Giroud out of that argument because Giroud, you give him the chance, he will score. But the rest of the guys, they lack quality. Do you know what I mean? There's something called quality. You get that opportunity, you have that quality, you create chances, you create goals out of it, innit? And that's what Chelsea's front line lack at the moment. Do you get what I mean? All of them, including Mason Mount. And no, Mason Mount has been great. But then when we get to the final third, as much as I've criticized Kovacic as well, so I'm not just criticizing one person, I'm criticizing all of them. When Mason Mount gets to that final third, that final pass, he lacks the quality to make it. The same thing goes for Kovacic. Lacks the quality to make it. Callum Hudson-Odoi at times, he gets good crosses in, but if he gets in goal, lacks the quality to hit a shot in front of goal. Do you know what I mean? To get it in. And it's just like that with a whole. It's just everyone in Chelsea. It just seems to be a common theme of the past 3 or 4 years at Chelsea, innit? And this is the problem. Something we need to fix.
I don't necessarily disagree. Like, definitely that was the case yesterday. I said this on Lewis's stream before you came on, Monster. Yesterday's game was a tricky one because had we been battering teams left, right, and centre, like say Southampton, and we're playing well in the final third, we would be sat here saying today, yeah, we struggled yesterday, but that was because Atletico are so good defensively. Because we already struggled against the likes of Southampton, even Newcastle, especially in the second half, to create much. And when we did create, to actually convert those chances. That's why we're sat here criticizing the final third. That's why I think it's somewhat difficult to judge it on last night because we shouldn't ignore how good Atletico are defensively. We shouldn't ignore that they're probably the most difficult team, if not in the world, to play those good and perfect and decisive final passes. And I mean, they've made it to Champions League finals. They're top of La Liga. If it was that easy to just do that all the time, more teams would be doing it. But you're not wrong. A lot of these
Atletico Madrid yesterday, you're right about that, but they were poor. And this was the chance for Chelsea to do something. They literally gave us the game to take. And Chelsea didn't. We took it. We did take it, actually. Let me not say we didn't take it. But, you know, they're not always going to be poor like that. Teams are not always going to be that poor. And when they are poor, you've got to take your chances. But don't get me wrong, we did take our chance. We did win the game. Obviously, Giroud fought quickly and got that overhead kick and hit it in, fought fast and showed that bit of quality that we need, innit? I think he's always had that. But we need to show more of that quick thinking, more of that, just that quality to do stuff in it. You know what I mean? That's what we need. And maybe it can come from guys that we've not really seen recently. So your Pulisic, your Havertz, your Ziyech, maybe those guys can bring some quality in. But yeah, that's all. That's what we need. We need it. We desperately do.
For sure. And I mean, part of what you said, especially about Mason Mount, that's why he is more suited to playing as an 8 than he is as a 10. Like his qualities suit that position more. Just at the moment, we don't use that position. And he's still one of our better players on a regular basis since Thomas Tuchel has come in. And yes, the final pass isn't quite there sometimes, but in my opinion, Mason Mount is usually the guy that puts us into the position from where we play the final pass. Whether he then ends up himself there in that role or whether he puts someone else in that position, his turns, his pressing is a big chunk why we get into those positions so often that we sit here criticizing and almost frustratingly craving a better final pass very often. And a lot of people have said it in the chat now, is Havertz that guy to bring that? That's what we brought him for. Once he is fully fit and once he hits form and is more comfortable, that's what we hope to get from him. But Lewis, what did you make of the? Go on.
All right, go on, Lewis.
Lewis, did you agree with Monster's sentiments there? Do you think he was maybe a bit harsh on our players and I guess Atletico as well? Because you said earlier they still did play well, just in their way. Because, like I said, I think it's a tough one to be maybe quite as harsh as Monster is, especially using the word lack of quality. Lack of quality on the day, maybe. Lack of quality at the moment, maybe. Lack of quality, full stop, long term, I disagree with.
A lack of quality in what sense, though? In terms of playing the final third?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to sit here and say it's great because I think that's the one area of the pitch that we are lacking in. But I think we were good against Atletico for what we faced. I thought we did good. Like, you could still say you would want more in the sense of dominance in the final third, but it would be hard to find that against a team like Atletico, who stick the majority of their team in that area of the pitch. So this is like the sort of game where I understand the struggle, but I also get that off playing the final third has been awful for a long time. We've struggled in that area of the pitch for so long. So I do echo those sentiments. If anything, they've been a bigger issue for the club for longer than we recognise. We've had this issue since Conte's second season, if we're going to be honest. That's about 4 seasons now where we've just been poor clinically and poor in the final third. So, yeah, it's true. But, I mean, the good thing is, like you said, we had the second most goals scored by Christmas or something. Why is that? Because everyone gets involved. We have the most goal scorers in the Premier League. So at the very least, we're not heavily reliant on 1 or 2 players to score goals. But that's also probably echoed while playing the final third, that you're going to have random players out of nowhere come in and pop up with a goal because our attackers aren't fully doing the job. But yeah, I do echo those sentiments, yeah.
Fair enough. I do, like I said, I do still think at the moment it is an issue, but I do firmly believe that a lot of these guys have it in them. Maybe not someone like Alonso.
Yeah. I do also agree with that. We've got a lot of players with the capability to do it. It's just Werner needs to be more clinical. Tammy needs to improve his all-round game. Pulisic, this season, I don't care. I just don't want him to get another injury, to be honest. Callum Hudson-Odoi is developing, and he's developing fine, so I don't care too much about that. Havertz just needs to get a bit more confidence and improve his intensity in the game as well, because that's the only thing he's struggling with. It's just little things with each player, which is also why we have a team capable of winning the league, but do we have a team that's ready to win the league? Maybe not so much, but next season, definitely. But right now, our team can do anything. They can achieve anything. Like, if you were to tell me they could go and contend for the league title start to finish of a season, I probably believe it, because the team's capable of doing it. But there's little reasons why each player is struggling. So there's a bit more growth that we need. It is what it is.
I agree with that. And I do want to add to the whole debate the fact that, in my opinion, it is an issue that we have Werner and Giroud as part of that final third, because I think it puts too much of the creative issue on Mason Mount when he can't be on both sides, especially when he's meant to be playing as a right number 10. And that's why someone said Dami's bashing Jorginho for things that Mount is supposed to do. Yeah, but Mount is playing it down the right-hand side. Let me just finish that point. I'll get to it in just a second. But the fact that we have Werner and Giroud as part of that final third players that are meant to like do better and create more, that gives us two players that won't create, that will wait for the ball to come to them to score. Giroud will do a layoff, sure, but that's not how I see creation. But to do a layoff, you need the good pass fed into you in the first place. Otherwise, that doesn't work. And that's why as much as we played well yesterday and won, I genuinely disagree to play Werner and Giroud together. To be honest, I've been very harsh on Werner, and I keep being very harsh. At this point, it's becoming a bit of a waste of space. He doesn't use his stronger right foot. He doesn't shoot. And he just tries to go to the byline and then either cross or shoot, and that's all he does, quite frankly. And it's starting to get very frustrating and annoying to me. And obviously, maybe if Pulisic was fully fit, we wouldn't even have this Werner situation in the team. Hence why also with the whole Tammy debate, I think before we get rid of Tammy, as long as he's happy to be a backup striker, I would rather get rid of Werner and make sure that Pulisic or Hudson-Odoi on the left are regular players rather than having Werner in his team all the time, especially when if we ever get Haaland. Obviously, while we have Tammy or Giroud up top, the finishing will always remain somewhat of an issue. Because yes, they both get goals, but they both don't get as many goals as we probably require them to win Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. But I still think them two up there together makes it so much more difficult for all the other ones. First of all, Alonso and Hudson-Odoi are solely wide, and Hudson-Odoi's left foot just ain't that good. But it puts so much pressure on Mason Mount and then Kovacic to come higher up the pitch to create, because you have those two in there. Obviously, I'll get to Demi first, and then if you, Monster, or Lewis as well, have any disagreements with that or agreements with that, you want to add that. But still, I just think that's part of the problem. The fact that Werner is always our left inside forward, and which is meant to be a creative position, but he's the opposite of a creative player. But Dami, to the point that was made in the chat, well, what is your response to that?
I mean, the whole thing with the Dami and the Jorginho thing, once again, I'm not here to push agendas. I only push agendas against Alonso and Antonio Rudiger. I used to rep Jorginho as a player, so I'm not even here to say that brother is not supposed to be playing and whatnot. I'm not one of those type of people.
Yo, Dami disappeared.
Yeah, Dami disappeared.
That's a very good point as well. Such a shame.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, the one thing I would say is,
I'm back.
The one thing I would say is, yeah, there are some weird agendas out there, innit? I saw something on Twitter. I think it was Expected Chelsea, one of the big accounts. He said something like Mason Mount's yellow card is solely, the responsibility solely goes to Jorginho, because Jorginho was supposed to be marking the guy. And it's just like players, if a player makes mistakes, why is it that we love to scapegoat or go after other players? Like, there's just such an agenda. It's either you're for the youth or for the senior players. Why can't you just be for Chelsea? Do you get what I mean? This is the problem. Like, if this player is not playing, well, if Alonso's playing, we want Chilwell to play, but we just won. So why does it matter who played? Oh, if Reece James is not playing, why is Reece James? Why the fuck do you care? Chelsea won. Be happy about that. And we move on. And this is the problem with the fan base. Like, it's just, I don't know, just too many agendas floating. It really does do my head in. It does my head in with all these agendas, man. People don't just enjoy the team and enjoy the dubs and move on. Like, it's always got to be one problem or the other. Do you get what I mean? Just too many issues.
For sure. Before we get to the super chat by Sam, by the way, big up yourself. Let me get back to Dami before he froze. Do you want to finish your point on the whole Jorginho, Mount, whatever?
Yeah, the thing is, sorry, man, people know me KFC Wi-Fi. That's what I'm doing. There's a KFC there. Man is using their Wi-Fi. That's what I'm using now. But true say, at the end of the day, my thing is, I believe in praising and criticizing in isolation. You understand? That's what I strongly believe in. And true say, final third, a lot of people come and tell me that, Jorginho was not supposed to do what Mason Mount was not doing what was doing. Jorginho was in positions where Mason Mount should be doing certain things. It doesn't matter. As a pass maestro, which is what his entire, that is the reason Jorginho plays, because he is meant to be a bang accurate passer most of the time. If he finds himself in a position where he needs to release the ball in an efficient manner, he should do that. People tell me, okay, Mason Mount has been slotted into the 10th position, but before as a number 8, we're not expecting too much. Now we are. Do you know where I'm coming from? So true say, as a professional footballer, there are certain things you need to do bang on. I don't care if Christensen is the one that needs to play the final ball into the box. He should be playing a decent final ball into the box, because any average, good, not even average, any good footballer playing at a top team should be able to release those passes. So that's how I feel with regards to that entire situation. You understand? That's how things are. And true,
but if it was that easy, wouldn't defending be completely impossible? If every good footballer should be able to do that, why do we have teams keeping clean sheets?
What do you mean?
Like, yeah, if to play a decisive final third ball should be capable for any good footballer, there's a lot of good footballers in the world. Why do teams keep clean sheets?
The point I'm trying to get across is like someone of Jorginho's levels. That comment basically said I should not complain about Jorginho's passes because Mason Mount doesn't make the same passes. I am telling him that Jorginho's strong suit is making those kind of passes. That is what Jorginho is meant for. But once again, I'm not trying to cancel him. You understand? I'm not trying to cancel him. And I literally just hopped off his stream while I was talking about youth players need to be used in isolation. They are not people that you rely on game in, game out the way we have been doing. And we're going to move on from that. Maybe the few ones you can have there. And once again, like I said, I've criticized Mason Mount in the final third. I've done it quite a lot of times this season, and I'll continue to do it until he improves. But one thing I do not want us to do is to, like Monster said, beautiful stuff, my brother. You can't just come and tell me that you can make excuses for the older players and you slag the youth and then you slag the youth and then let's just be general with the whole situation. Like I said, I have repped Jorginho in my lifetime and I have repped Mason Mount. Both have this fam before my face came to show on the platform. So you can't say that I have agendas against either of them. They can't. Mason Mount, true say, along with all the other attackers we've had this season, final third, they needed to improve. Mason Mount makes some shocking decisions in the final third. Anyone that tells me otherwise is being a bit too biased. He makes some extremely shocking decisions. But true say, you can't tell me that he doesn't do on the half turn. How many players are better than Mason Mount in that squad on the half turn? How many of them? Go on, tell me. You can't see that. You need to prove. That's why I say you need to praise in isolation and you need to criticize in isolation. Those are the two different things you need to make sure you do on a consistent basis. So don't tell me that because Mason Mount is messing up specific passes, Jorginho has the sparks for that. Jorginho yesterday, true say, 4 or 5 passes in the first half, where he should have done a lot better job, especially for the role, register, pass maestro, XYZ, Perlo replacement, Perlo remontada. We didn't see that, especially in the Champions League on the big stage. Mason Mount, I'm not even going to make excuses, but true say, on the big stage, are you expecting your young players to turn up on the big stage? How many Mbappes in this world exist? Even Mbappe in the final messed up as a big player. So my point I'm trying to get across to you is that on the big stage...
Just to interrupt quickly, even Mbappe dropped the ball in the Champions League final, by the way.
That's my point. That's my point. So at the end of the day, judge and criticize these individuals in isolation. I spoke to Olivia just now. Big up to Olivia. I was saying, you know what? I don't care who is playing right now. I love Kai Havertz. I love him so much. Literally, I've been basking for this brother even before Chelsea signed him. My tweets are still there. Brother is not playing now. You don't catch me going around saying, oh, Red Tete, we should bench this person for blah, 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 and they're making excuses for him. At the end of the day, if Chelsea are winning, which we did yesterday, let's keep him moving swiftly, fam. Let's just keep him moving very, very swiftly. There's no need to sit there and just be talking about, oh, XYZ player did it. Leave it alone. Tuchel come in, 6 games. He has not lost with a similar 11. He has not lost. So let's not even get... Obviously, we are critical about attacking and whatnot, but let him do what he needs to do. This is a different situation. Are we winning? Monster, take it away, my brother.
Do you know what it is? Like, I did watch your stream as well, innit? And I saw the Olivia saying what she said, innit? And, you know, I'm not trying to criticize her or anything, but, you know, hearing her say this player should play for because of they're going to the Euros and blah, blah. To me, it's just like, I'm just thinking, and it's not just her, it's just a lot of people. You just, to me, I'm asking you the question of, are they playing because they're the best player for that system or for the team right now? Or are you just saying we should play them for this or play them for that? What matters right now is we need to get this team winning. I don't care who goes to the Euros. I'm sorry. I am a huge England fan. Everyone that knows me knows I'm a gigantic England fan, innit? I don't care if, you know, Alonso is playing better than Chilwell, and unfortunately, because of that, Chilwell can't get in the team. He might not go to the Euros. I'm sorry. I don't care. What matters to me right now is Chelsea winning. The same goes for Reece James as well. If Reece James can't perform as good as Callum Hudson-Odoi is performing at right wing back, then Reece James, go sit your ass on the bench. I'm sorry. Same goes to Tammy Abraham. If he's not performing to the levels Werner or Giroud is playing, you too, go sit your ass on the bench. And it goes for every player. I don't care who they are. I don't care who is your favorites. This team is not predicated on your favorites. It's predicated on this is Chelsea FC. When Frank Lampard at times couldn't play well, what happened? Mourinho was like, fuck that, get out of here. I want to bring Fabregas in. We don't care about none of that nonsense. But yeah, go on, Dammy.
And that's the thing. Like I said, it's same wavelength too. Because for me, literally, even on that stream, after Olivia said that, like I said, massive love to Olivia. I know that I heard what she had to say. I understood what she said. And that's why I brought up my example of Kai Havertz. But like I said, and the way I wrapped and packaged it up, and she agreed with me as well when I said it. I said, true say, at the end of the day, we just need Chelsea to win. I keep telling people, like, look at that Callum Hudson-Odoi situation. A lot of people made a lot of chatted so much grease about the situation. I'm not even talking about anybody specifically, but people are saying, oh, he's fighting with Callum. Media out there trying to portray a narrative that doesn't exist. Tuchel has an 18-month contract. Do you think he gives a rat's ass about certain people's beliefs right now? Obviously, he needs to get everybody involved, but he has a job and he has something he needs to achieve. He has goals he needs to hit. I wouldn't be shocked if they told him to win the FA Cup. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. We all know top four is meant to be done. That's not even a conversation. I won't be shocked if they told him to hit a specific yardstone in the Champions League. So brother is here to do a job. Obviously, he can care about certain players and whatnot. But for me, true say, like I said, as much as I hate certain people, I don't like Rudiger. I don't like Alonso. Everybody knows it. But Laurenz, you saw me coming on to give Alonso his pie yesterday. Rudiger, I don't like him. But brother's been keeping clean sheets recently, even before Tuchel came in. I have to pay my respects. And Mason Mount, I love him a lot. I pay my respects most of the time. But if any of these players mess up, I come out and I see what needs to be said. I'm not really here on an agenda thing. I don't really have too much time for when I'm running an agenda, it's clear. You understand? When I'm running an agenda, it's clear. I came onto this stream and I told you Andreas Christensen had a fantastic game yesterday. He absolutely pocketed Suarez yesterday, kept them locked up and made no noise. Good performance, praise in isolation, and we keep him moving swiftly. If Tuchel feels that Chilwell needs to start in the next game, say less. Let him start in the next game. Let him do, and if we win, Tuchel, keep on doing what you're doing. True say, we're all used as Chelsea fans, and I'm not acting anybody here. I'm not even speaking about anybody because I am guilty of it too. We're all used as Chelsea fans, be like, oh, why did the XYZ person start? Or why didn't this person start? People are talking about, oh, N'Golo Kante this and N'Golo Kante that. Let this brother do.
I hear that when the team's losing, then you can say
yes,
certain players didn't play and blah blah. But if the team's winning, that just proves that they were supposed to play. Like, if the team's winning, there is no excuse to say certain man or shouldn't be playing, innit? People need to.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because you can win as a team and an individual player, one or two or whatever, can have dreadful performances. I mean, Timo Werner's missed 2 sitters from 5 yards and we won a game. Does that mean he played well? No, it doesn't. Does that mean he should have played? Probably not. And that, because I do want to get to the super chat quickly of Sam saying people argue that the traditional 10 is obsolete in modern football. Unfortunately, teams that subscribe to them keep dominating others, in particular, probably Manchester City. Maybe not so much the last 1 or 2 years with Liverpool, but this year, the number 10s are certainly, getting bigger and bigger. And you could argue the likes of Gnabry and the likes of Thomas Müller are the big ones for Bayern Munich as well. Yeah, Koeman and Sane are proper wingers, but, still. And that brings me back to the point where I slightly disagree with the whole if we win, everything worked out perfectly. Because, for example, if, say, we won 2-0 today, and then Atletico come to us and beat us 1-0, they're still out, even though they won. So would their fans then say someone else shouldn't have played?
If they beat us,
I know that's a bit different, but do you know what I mean?
If they beat us 2-1, we are out, actually.
No. I'm saying if we yesterday won 2-0 and they came to the bridge and won 1-0, we would still be through. But they would have won the game, and still their fans would have craved for more. And that brings me on to the whole Werner Giroud front line, I guess discussion, because it kind of leads into what Sam said with the number 10s. It is kind of wide number 10s, as managers like to call it. Frank called it that. Tuchel calls those, like in a 3-4-3 system, the front wide players, they're kind of called wide number 10s, inside forwards, whatever you want to call them. And that's why I have that little bit of an issue with Timo Werner. I'll get to Lewis first and then go around Monster and Dami as well. Do you agree with that? That the fact that Werner is the type of player he is, but plays in a creative role, is a bit of an issue?
Playing him in a creative role.
He is playing in a creative role, but isn't a creative player, and that in some games, Timo Werner, and that in some games causes issues.
No, I'd say he's a creative player.
Would you? Okay.
Yeah, because he creates a lot of chances for himself, and to be honest, he does create a lot of chances for other players as well. He has how many assists? Like 9 this season now. And if anything, I've been saying that's half the reason why we still give Timo Werner his credit, even though he's been on this terrible. Well, he was on this terrible goal run. Because at the very least, his chance creation was there, his work rate was there, his link-up play was still there. Granted, there was still like massive holes in his game, like his finishing, his first touch, his positioning when he was on the ball, maybe the final end product at times as well, because he was very predictable on the left-hand side too. But I think he creates a lot of chances in games. Like, I think the stats go to back it up as well. That's why I don't see him like an Alvaro Morata.
But Lewis, bro, we were just talking about final passes in the final third. I know Werner creates chances for himself at times, but when we're talking about final passes in the final third, you can't tell me Timo Werner is a creative player, because Timo Werner is the guy that won't even attempt it. Jorginho might mess it up. Mount might mess it up. Timo Werner, 9 times out of 10, doesn't even get in the position where he has that decision to make because he doesn't receive the ball earlier. And when he does, he doesn't even consider the decisive pass. Other than obviously a cutback cross, but that's a bit different, right?
Yeah, it is usually just cutbacks with him, and it has been recently. But I think there's a middle point on this, because we can't say he's not creative, because he wouldn't have racked up 9 assists this season if he isn't creative. But if you're going to talk about the different types of creativity that he can bring you in terms of the sorts of pass that he can deliver, maybe you're onto something more in that case. I do think it's maybe more a case of middle ground. I wouldn't say he's not creative, but I do understand your point as well. It's not like you're wrong in this scenario either.
Fair. Dami, do you think Werner playing in that wide role in a creative position isn't creative enough, and that causes us problems, and is part of the issue of our lack of final thirds, output, shall we say? I'm not saying it necessarily is. I'm saying, in my opinion, it could well be, but I can't really say it definitely is, because we haven't seen someone else play that really.
I can't lie to you. All our strikers this season have been shite. I'm not even going to. No, literally, because I had a conversation in a group chat today, and they were telling me, "Oh, Tammy should be starting there. Giroud should be starting." They've all been shite. Come on, let's keep it very real. People can bring up. See, I've probably offended a lot of people in chat. Honestly speaking, I'm not trying to be funny or nothing, but okay, let me rephrase. None of our strikers this season have played to Chelsea standard. Let's put it like
None
that.
of them.
I think that's a fair way for me to put it. True say, Werner, the club are trying to get him to play in. You understand? They have a striker they spend a lot of money on, and Marina and that board, they don't like taking L's. Not financially, not with wrong players, and not with titles. You understand? That's one of those type of people. So they don't like taking L's. So Tuchel has come in and he's trying to almost get this system to work for Werner so he can get a bit more involved. And I'm sure the board have told him that. But true say, for me, at the end of the day, yeah, I do hear you. Werner is not the most. I wouldn't say he's a creative player. I don't think Werner is not a creative player. He's not going to give you a killer pass in between the lines. He's not going to come out there and do all sorts of funky things that's not what he does. Werner runs in behind and tries to put bare crosses in and draws fouls for penalties. So straight up, that's what my brother does. For me, I would agree with you. Him playing in that position is a bit funky. So that's why I have been begging. Last stream before that, video, stream before that, I think was it Monster Stream 2? I've been saying this. I want to see, Monster, correct me if I'm wrong. I said Havertz, Werner. Was it you who was speaking to it? I said I wanted to see like Havertz as almost like a false 9 type of thing. In the sense where you have like Havertz, Werner, Mount or something, or Havertz, Mount and Tammy. So I want to see something along those lines, because Drew say right now in those half spaces, Mason Mount's the one that has the license to do all of that. And as much as I know he needs to grow into the position, he's playing in a very critical position. That last pass, Chelsea have been lacking that last pass. So with regards to the striking situation, I really, honestly speaking, I'm trying to give them. I don't know who's going to come around, because right now I can't really sit down here and defend any of them properly. Because true say, none of them have scored up to 10 goals in the Prem this season. That is mad. Tammy, 20 games, 6 goals. Werner, 24 games, 5 goals. I know he has 5 assists, but bro, as a striker, we shouldn't be doing that. Bruno Fernandes has more than all 3 combined. Are you joking? No. Let's not do that, fam.
And that's
I mean, obviously Fernandes has all of the pens as well. I do agree with you, but
pens.
Before I get to you, Mons, because I want your thoughts on that fully. By the way, guys, subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe to all of these guys. All of their links are down in the description. Dami, have you hit the 3K last night?
Yeah, I hit 3K last night. Yeah,
come on,
then subscribe and help him reach 4K straight away. Same goes for Monster. Same goes for Lewis. Subscribe to these guys. Subscribe to me if you haven't already. Road to 10K. The more of you that sub now, the quicker we get there, so the better. Smash the like button. Let's get to 200 likes. Why not? Do you know what I mean? We already have 111 or whatever. So just go down below, smash the like button. Doesn't cost you any money. Doesn't cost you any time, as I like to say. But just to Dami's comment, if Kai plays the kind of false 9 striker role, then the left and right forwards become less of a creative position. Just if we play a proper out-and-out striker, those left and right players are more creatively.
Let me give an example of what I'm talking about. So literally think about it like this here. What I'm thinking with Kai Havertz, and this is why I don't have a whiteboard. I'm gonna order a whiteboard after the stream for my streams, innit? Let's do tactics with Dami. Them way there. That's what we're gonna do right now, fam. So literally what I'm talking about is this is the situation we have at Chelsea right now. You understand? Yeah. You got your striker, okay, you've got your 2 cams. What I'm saying is Kai Havertz plays as one of these individuals, okay? And be filling in, okay? And what I mean by false striker is we are going to have like a false 9.5, if that makes any sense. Once again, I didn't do, okay? Monster is laughing. I don't have a UEFA B license. I don't have an A license. I'm just talking off the top of my head. You understand? All the Lucozade boost I've been drinking is making me waffle and talk all the time. But this is what I'm thinking. Kai Havertz, okay, as a false 9, okay, he's done this at Leverkusen, and this is based off what I've seen him do. So I'm thinking you've got Mason Mount playing in like over here with the 10. Havertz is fully capable of playing as a number 10. You understand? False 9.5 is the worst thing I've ever said in my life. But you've got Havertz playing as a number 10, and he can also move into the striker position and
see what Dami's doing right now. It's basically like that. Man, it's like he goes there, and then 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 he goes there, and that's what's meant to happen. And it was so crazy. Man froze again.
I'm back.
You're back. Go on.
Derek. Oh, now you're on mute, G.
No, I'm rascal. It's like the Lord here. It's like Tuchel heard my tactics and paused my Wi-Fi. You understand? Man is saying don't expose what we're doing. But I don't know if you guys clock what I'm saying. I just think Havertz is versatile. That's something we don't have. You understand? I know from that is mad, innit? It's mad. But you might talk. I mean, I don't know. Monster laughed, innit, bro. You chat to me, man, because I'm just thinking.
I heard you say false 9.5. I was like, what the hell is that?
You gonna get what I'm saying, innit? It's mad. That's what's going on in my head. Oh, Statman Beans in the chat. I've jacked up, but hey, it is what it is, fam. Oh my
Lord,
Lord,
that's the real one.
Go on, Monster. You were gonna make a point before that. Continue your point in terms of the false 9 and everything up top. Go on.
No, it was. I can't remember what it was. I was gonna make a point on. I've actually forgotten.
The whole Werner thing, I think. Creative player, maybe.
Yeah, I can't exactly remember. I was gonna say like it's just none of our players are really creating like that. None of them. They're all just not creating properly, and I kind of fear for all of them because if the likes of Ziyech, the likes of Havertz, Pulisic start firing, then you can see the likes of Mount, Werner being dropped to the bench. No, that sounds wild because Mount's work rate is crazy, but when you're playing that role, it requires a bit more creativity. Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you're not, as much as you've got the work rate and everything, but if you're not bringing that creativity needed to provide goals, and then the likes of Kai Havertz and Hakim Ziyech start to pick up and show they've got that creativity, then don't be surprised when they get dropped.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think the problem, or not a problem, but I think the situation with Tuchel is he wants a mix of, in that role, creative and aggression and work rate. And that's where it will become the debate. Will Mount get creative first, like proper, or will Havertz get the work rate first? And that's what's going to decide who's going to play, because you can't do just either for Thomas Tuchel. If you don't do either, then what happened with Callum Hudson-Odoi against Southampton will happen to you. You're going to come on and you're going to come back off because he ain't evident otherwise. And that's where Kai still needs to prove it to people, to Tuchel and to us fans, because we know that he's the creative player. And if anyone can probably solve those issues, in my opinion, it is probably Kai Havertz, yes, Ziyech, but Ziyech doesn't have the pace, it doesn't have a weak foot. It's too much of an issue long term. But Kai can fix almost all of those issues we're currently crying about, kind of, because Kai is that good. He can probably take a lot of that pressure and a lot of that responsibility that we require in the final third almost on himself. Of course, some teams will find a way to stop him do it, but I think in general he's probably the closest, at least, that will solve this issue. And of course, having a striker, if we get him like Erling Haaland up top, will make it all easier as well, because he doesn't need always the perfect ball and the perfect chance. He will somehow get goals anyway, and that will make everyone's confidence go up and everything will be easier and better, right? But I still think it shouldn't be underestimated that it needs to be a mix of creativity and also work rate. Otherwise, Tuchel won't play you.
100. But like I said, Kai is going to come back in. You understand, brothers? Yeah, sure. Brother, he's him being, like I said, I wasn't expecting him to do bits this season. We're going to see more next season, but I won't be shocked if he comes into the squad and starts doing the madness right now. Because brother came on, he didn't do anything too bombastic on the pitch yesterday, but he came in and he showed levels. You understand? Came in, showed levels, came in and did the thing. Somebody mentioned the board, the council on the bench about his price tag. You're spot on. At the end of the day, like I was arguing with some people that are talking about being fair and unfair and the whole Tammy Abraham. And I think, you know what? Yeah, I don't want to be that guy that comes onto the thing. But I want to talk about the Tammy thing with Erling Haaland. I said, true say, at the end of the day, the board, okay, look at Tammy, Giroud and Werner, okay? If we're signing Erling Haaland and Tammy is leaving, what does that say about Tammy to you? Personally, people are telling me that no matter how hard he tries, that he can't really get into the pitch. He hasn't been leaps and bounds above Werner and Giroud. Let's not lie to ourselves. They've all been on the same level. They've not done anything that's more spectacular than the next person. So literally at the end of the day, I just feel like, yeah, we can talk about the money involvement and how certain individuals are meant to be doing different things. But for me, true say, is one of those things where they need to keep on showing that mentality. I need them to show that Mason Mount type mentality. Look at Mason Mount. He heard Havertz came in. He didn't face him. So this Tammy contract thing, I don't believe is true, for starters. I do not believe it's true, because it's not the first time that the media is coming out with fake Tammy Abraham contract stuff. So I don't even think it's true. But if it is true, then that's a bit concerning mentality-wise. You understand?
Yeah.
I mean, after we touched on this on Lewis's stream earlier, I still think it's understandable if he wants to leave, because Haaland isn't just a top player coming in. If he does, he's also even younger than him. So whatever he thinks of his own potential, I think in terms of how much do the club trust me? Like if they brought someone like Costain in terms of age, or someone around the 30s, it's a bit different. But to make it, and Haaland will be our record transfer if we get him this summer. Maybe not if they don't make Champions League, but still then, even then, I think he probably will break what we paid for Kai. And let's see if we'll ever break that again, or ever maybe we will. But in the next few years, I don't think after we get Haaland, we will break transfer records for a couple of years at least. So I think it is an understandable situation. Obviously, Monster, we had all of your thoughts. Well, maybe not all of your thoughts. Maybe you have some additional ones on Lewis's channel on that one. But if you just want to add one or two more words to basically what you said there already about the whole Tammy Haaland situation, and hey, as much as a lot of us maybe want Tammy around, whether it's because we like him as a guy or whether we like the academy product, hey, if getting Haaland means Tammy leaves, so be it. For me, also the same goes with Werner. If Haaland comes in and that long term means Werner leaves, hey, so be it.
So be it. Yeah, I agree. If Haaland comes in, then listen, that whole strike force can go. I'm joking, but yeah, he's not someone you miss out on. Like we said, he's like probably top 2, top 3 best strike, not just young strikers in the world, best strikers in the world. You know what I mean? You can say people that are maybe better than him, Lewandowski, maybe Harry Kane, maybe. And that's it. There's not many better than him. So it's a thing. And Mbappe, don't forget Mbappe. But it's a thing where if you get the opportunity to buy a guy like Erling Haaland, you have to. You 1000% have to get him. So I listen, if Tammy's hasn't got the mentality to stay and fight for his place, the same way the we saw Didier Drogba do with countless strikers coming in, then he's at the wrong club, because at any top club, they don't stop buying star players. They just continue to buy no matter who's there. So it's down to you to stay and fight for your place.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We will end it not just yet, but in just a minute. Obviously, Monster needs to head off, I think, pretty much now. So, Monster, massively appreciate you coming on. I'm sure I'll see you on your channel in the future, and he will definitely have you back on. Like I said, subscribe to him. His link is in the description. Just click his subscribe to him. Brilliant content. And again, cheers for coming on, bro.
Thank you, everyone. Hey, big ups to everyone in the chat. Make sure you smash the like button. Big ups to Lewis, Dammy. Big ups to you, Laurenz. And
my guy, Monster, that big man thing, man, out there.
Big up the bros.
In a bit.
Yeah, bless up, man. Nice chatting to you.
Exactly. Just before we end it here, I'm going to get Lewis's thoughts on all of this, because man needs to head off as well, and then I'll get Dammy one last time, and then we'll round it out here. Lewis, about the whole Dammy situation, you kind of I didn't really hear much of your thoughts on your channel, quite frankly, because man was tired and we was all going at each other about this debate. So, I want to get your thoughts on it. Do you agree with this? Like, if he doesn't want to stay, if we sign Haaland, then he needs to get gone anyways? Because I personally think it's a bit harsh, because I don't know. If you're totally realistic with it, as much as it says mindset, there's also a point of where you need to be realistic. Like, someone like Mason Mount knows he's never going to be as good as Lionel Messi. And maybe Tammy, in his own right, just knows in his heart to heart, he isn't going to be as good as Erling Haaland. But if his ambition is to be a starting striker for a football club at as high of a level as possible, maybe if we sign Haaland, he just doesn't see that as possible, and then he thinks it's better to leave. I don't necessarily think there's everything wrong with that. People like Lukaku made it work. And look at him now. He was like, all right, I'm not going to, do it against Drogba and whoever else was around at the time. And even against Torres and Demba Ba, man didn't have the balls to stick around and ask for the loan move. Hence, we had to bring Eto'o in on the last day. And look at his career now. Yeah, he isn't in the Premier League and isn't at Chelsea, but man's doing bits. Man's got 300 career goals and isn't even 27 yet, I don't think. So it's not the only way to make it is to stick around where you are in the first place. But give me your thoughts on the whole Tammy leaves, if Haaland comes in, that's an L or whatever else.
It's all up to Tammy, to be honest. Like, he could stay if he wanted to, and I wouldn't be against him staying. I'm not fully on Tammy out agenda or anything like that, but I do think we need a better striker. If Erling Haaland comes, if he wants to stay and compete, I think he's a slow grower and he can still become an amazing striker. It's just not going to be at the rate that we want right now. But that's why we also got to be ruthless and be Chelsea about it. I think it'd be great for him to maybe take a loan deal at a mid-table Premier League club if the right team came for him. Because I know we were saying on the other stream as well that most mid-table sides already have their striker options sorted out already, so they don't necessarily need one. But if the option came, I would like to see him take it, because I do think that regular first-team experience is all going to be good for him. There's only so much you can get off just warming the bench most of the time. I'm not saying he's had a terrible season, but it's like we said, all of our strikers have had bad points this season. All of our strikers have looked good at points this season, but we know what Tammy brings to you in the game. We know what Tammy lacks in his game. And he lacks too much to start regularly for us. So if he wants to continue to stay and learn if we end up getting Haaland, then great. I think he'd be a great asset to the squad. If he wants that first team spot and he wants that spot over Erling Haaland, then yeah, it's a bit of a sticky one still, but he ain't winning that battle. So we don't even need to have too much of a discussion about that. We know who wins on Tammy versus Haaland.
Yeah, I mean, personally, in my opinion, like I said, if Tammy would see it out, I would probably actually prefer Werner leaving and Tammy and Giroud as backups to Haaland, my opinion, because Werner ain't an out-and-out striker, and I don't really like us being forced into this, having two up front and having this inside left forward. I don't like that we have to do that just to play Werner. But Dammy, get me your thoughts on that again, and any final thoughts on yesterday and with the upcoming games as well, obviously, because then we're going to round it out here.
True say, my thing with this whole Tammy thing is the same way I treated the Callum situation. I do not jump, big up to Zion as well. I do not jump on news I'm not comfortable about. So I am not going to come to any conclusions about Tammy Abraham just yet. I made that mistake at the early start of my Twitter career back in 2018, 2019. I can't remember which year it was. And I jumped to some conclusions about stuff and it didn't make me look. So my thing now with this situation, I don't believe Tammy would do that sort of thing, because I don't think That's what his mentality is about. The same way the media came out and said that Callum was fighting with Tuchel and they had a spat and retete. I didn't believe that, and I tweeted about it. You understand? And it's clear that they don't have one. My thing is, if it is true, which I strongly don't believe it is, then one, that's weak mentality. Somebody's going to tell me that the board are favoring certain signings. That's correct. That is very correct. Of course, the board are going to favor Timo Werner. Timo Werner is one of the most expensive signings we made. You understand? Tammy is free. Giroud was cheap. He's almost out of his contract. What are we talking about? So why wouldn't the board ask the manager to play more? And despite that, I know he's played half the time Timo has. Tammy has 20 appearances. I think most of them have been substitute appearances. Timo has had about 24 games. And Tammy has not been leaps and bounds. Do you get my point? So if he's leaving, strictly, I hear what you're saying, Laurenz. I hear you. You understand? Being realistic is one thing, but look at Drogba. Drogba came in, if I'm correct, I can't remember who he came in with another big striker. Next season, nothing happened. Season after, we went and got Shevchenko. After that season, we went and got another striker. Then another striker.
Was Crespo before or after Shevchenko? Before, I think.
Who's
Crespo?
This? Wasn't Crespo? Crespo was there before. I think Crespo was there before. I think.
I think Crespo was the first one. Shevchenko was the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, Shevchenko came after. Then remember we went and got Anelka. Then we now went out and we kept on going, fam. And Drogba kept on saying, bring them on, bring them on, bring them on. You understand? Shevchenko, when we signed him, was one of the best strikers in world football. People will tell me, oh, he flopped, I don't care. That Drogba, you didn't see, because Drogba was not doing too well. Drogba was not doing too well. Brother didn't just say, I'm going to pack up my bags and leave. He didn't even do that. He stayed and became one of our best strikers. So, Tammy, I believe that irrespective of what happens, he will stay. This is based off me assuming the news is correct, which I strongly believe it isn't. So people can talk about all the board influences they want, but truthfully, at the end of the day, being a Chelsea player, you know that. As Chelsea fans, we know that. And if Tammy is involved in something like that, he also knows that. So you need to push the levels because right now, he's 23. Werner is 24. People have forgotten that. Tammy is not a spring chicken. That's what a lot of people have forgotten. He's not a spring chicken, fresh off the block and whatnot. He's not that at all. So we need to all remember that in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, that's how I see the whole thing, man. That's how I see the whole thing.
Exactly. There you go. And we're going to leave it here. It's been a lovely stream. Great debates. Loved it. Enjoyed it a lot. It's been a big dub yesterday, as much as we spoke a lot about, difficult things that we struggle with, because they're just easier and, there's more to debate about rather than, everything being great. Then we talk about that for 5 minutes. We all agree and we're kind of done with it. So, that's why it ends up being a debate about things that are a bit more difficult more often than not. But hey, that doesn't take anything away from the huge dub that we took last night. Hopefully we can take some more huge dubs in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, it's Manchester United on Sunday. We'll be here with a preview for that on Saturday. I will probably be doing a stream between now and then, definitely. I'm not sure when yet, but you'll probably see me on one of these guys' channels as well. So definitely make sure to subscribe to Dammy, to Lewis. Both of the links are in the description. Hit that ad, subscribe to them. Both of these guys subscribe. They deserve all of the subscribers in the world. So, definitely check them out. Subscribe to myself. Like I said, we're on the road to 10K. We hit 8.5. We're close to 8.6 now. So, it keeps going. It keeps going. We get there as soon as possible. The more of you to subscribe right now, the less I'll bother you with it. So just subscribe, smash the like button, become a member if you fancy it. There's a join button underneath. But yeah, we're going to leave it here. Thank you guys for watching. Big up Flyers. Big up everyone that was in the chat today. Big up Dammy, obviously, like Samuel said. But yeah, like I said, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea, upwards and onwards we move. And I'll see you next time.